Okay. Next one we can talk about here is Thundercats. And this is probably the one that I have maybe the most amount of actual experience in. I remember when this one was on, at least. I will say that.
Thundercats was a great show. I always kind of felt like it was almost a lift of the He-Man formula. You know, your main character, Lion-O, is sort of similar to He-Man, and it kind of felt like they were doing I think LJN had the rights to the show, so obviously they were going heavy with action figures and stuff. But man, Thundercats holds up so well. I think it's an infinitely better show than the shows it was inspired by.
Yep, for sure. The most interesting characters too, I think.
Okay, yes, I agree. And what the hell is Snarf? They're already cat people. What is Snarf? Is he not a cat? Why is he like retarded and their pet, but he talks? I don't understand.
I think it's like a Goofy Pluto situation, maybe. They're both dogs, but...
Yeah, I guess that makes sense. He's just like become like the pun, too, in pop culture. Like everything is Snarf.
Yeah.
Yeah, just in watching that show again. Because I remember, it'd been a while since I'd watched Thundercats, and with Adult Swim, they were always making those like Snarf jokes. And I was like, no, he couldn't have actually said Snarf that much. He does. Like, every other word is Snarf out of Snarf's mouth. He's like maybe he's part Pokemon. Yeah.
Start of it.
We've solved it. He's a Pokemon. What type of Pokemon would he be? I don't know what the hell he is. He's like a cat/alligator thing. Now, did any of you or either of you watch the very first episode in kind of doing some homework for this topic?
No, I couldn't find it on YouTube.
Okay, there's a channel that's all like Voltron, like 30 years or something. It's got all the episodes. You can just stream them. So I was watching quite a few, but the very first episode, they set up the premise where their homeworld's been destroyed, and they have to go like into cryogenic sleep to travel like I don't know how many light years to get to what is essentially Earth. They hint at to colonize. There's like 8 of them, so they're kind of screwed with that. They're all going to be retarded within 5 generations. But what's interesting is Lion-O at the start of the pilot is a teen. He's like late teens, and then even though they go into cryogenic sleep, they still age slightly. Nobody else on the ship seems to age, but Lion-O comes out a full-grown man and the leader. And he went from being like this kind of scrappy, adorable kid, and then he comes out as Lion-O, and he's just kind of a dick. Like, he's just an asshole.
He still kind of has the attitude of a teenager.
Right, he's just kind of a prick. You're like, man, I kind of liked Lion-O before he grew up. And I will say that I kind of, for cartoon animations, not that I'm into like hentai or bestiality or anything, but Cheetara, I don't know. I'd consider that.
They did some extra work to her model, I think.
Yeah.
Than probably needed to be done. I think there was somebody on
Right.
that staff of questionable integrity.
It made you feel tingles in your weird places as a kid. That's for sure. They were definitely hinting at something, that's for... And she was the only adult female character, so
Right.
You gotta wonder whether they're just running a train on her at night in the home base.
And what's up with Lion-O? Like, his tan lines are just really weird.
Right.
Like, he just applied sunscreen in all the wrong places.
Yeah. I don't know.
I feel like Snarf should be said every so often here.
you can just be our Snarf, just like chime in. Snarf.
Snarf.
What's up with Lionel? Snarf. Check out the tits on Cheetara. Snarf. Oh, God. This is going downhill fast. So, I was curious, because I've never seen a Thundercats game. So this is kind of interesting. There was a side-scrolling PC-based game. It came out on all the PCs of the day, like Amiga, Atari ST, Commodore, ZX Spectrum. Apparently, this was also announced in '87 and advertised for the NES, but it never actually came out.
Really? Wow.
And I went back and like looked at the PC versions, and it's clunky, like you'd expect a side-scrolling action game on the PC to be at those times. Like the movements looked really janky, but they actually did a pretty good job with the character models. Who knows what that would have looked like had it reached the NES, but interesting nonetheless. And then apparently they rebooted this series in the 2010-ish time frame. I guess it was kind of a flop, but there was also a DS game based on that around that reboot, somewhere around 2010, 2011. That came out. So not the actual original Thundercats property, but interesting. I'd never heard of it. I didn't know that this got in a reboot.
And it was awful. It has a 28 on Metacritic, which is really hard to do. Yes.
Now I kind of need to play it. Snarf, snarf.
I've had it through a couple times, and I never popped it in. I never knew it was thought of as that bad. So maybe next time.
Yeah, typical license cash in, huh?